Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Happy Venus Friday. Friday tea time.
The summertime or wintertime in the Southern Hemisphere.
Oh, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Maida. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, Maida.
Angela. Good morning, all beings that are joining us right now. We are so happy to be here.
Yes.
Filled with joy, happiness, good vibrations.
Good vibration.
Today.
Good vibration.
Good vibration.
Woo-hoo! Hi, Dimitris.
Comes
Even
right
more.
on time.
Woo-hoo!
Shine the vibrations high. And here comes Dimitris, loud and crystal clear.
Michael just came out of a 2-hour sacred divine masculine group. He had to actually make it short.
So I could be here. Good morning, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah, I just came out of 2 hours of just being with this beautiful, beautiful sacred group of just bringing forth very, very powerful themes that we're sharing to help really with all the sacred.
Well, thanks to Maida, because we met.
Maida. I met Maida
Zeus through Maida.
And I've just been so honored to.
Because he has put this together.
Yeah, he put this together, and he's done this every 2 weeks, which he can be found on his page. I don't have that link, but I'll add it to the link immediately, and I'll post it on mine. But it's a sacred 2 hours on Zoom where we're all holding space for each other and really bringing out very, very important themes. Like today was talking about healing the shadow, and the week before we were talking about surrender, and it's just been really pivotal of when men can be in a very vulnerable space, and that space can be held with the highest level of love, and we just really listen and heart one another, because you know, Honey has definitely showed me the importance of listening and how much we can heart one another through listening and through feeling the vibrations. And
there have been so many times I tell Michael, I say, Michael, listen, we don't need a solution. We have this. I just need you to listen. Can you just listen? Yeah.
And sometimes it's so.
Most of the time, Michael is very good.
Sometimes it's
You're
very,
amazing.
Very, thank you.
You really are amazing. Most of the time.
Until Mr. Stupid wants to come in.
Mr. Stupid can't listen to jack crap. That's all I gotta say.
It's always
but
funny.
Michael himself.
Mr. Stupid is the ego, by the way.
Michael himself, sacred, he can listen very well. Not Mr. Stupid.
And part of it, what I've been very grateful for.
And that's not a judgment.
Yeah.
That's after Dolores Cannon, my teacher, she called that part Mr. Stupid because it just doesn't know anything, and it's kind of like just the intruder.
And what's been great about listening is Honey has just shared some of the depths that I have never really experienced, witnessed, or heard of, just from the rawness and realness of life. And what is such a blessing is when Honey shares, it's not, by any means light.
Oh, no.
By any means equilibrium of it's usually full on straight fire. So even if I haven't slept.
Well, you met Maida too. My sister shares too. Didn't she? Didn't she?
Oh,
and did you see me?
Shares.
All the other sisters.
Shares.
We got no issue because this Magdalene voice is like it can't hold back no more, right?
And what power it is to listen to someone and to beings that have so much pain or messages or vulnerabilities or traumas or wounds or things that really open the heart up. And I find with this Divine Masculine Roundtable, it's been a blessing because the more we share that space, the more we're opening the heart up, and we're really giving the permission for both the men and women to really allow themselves to, especially during this month, to give voice and to give ear to all that's being brought forward, because it's a blessing. Like Honey and I, we have such deep conversations, whether it's in the morning or before we go to bed. The depth of what we share, what we're doing here, it gives us this magical moment to express. And I find that's what we're all here at this moment to give voice and to give rise to our natural expression during these fun, crazy, chaotic days of, what do you want to call it, love? Ascension! I'm called Ascension.
Well, hello everyone. How you all doing? We feel giddy a little bit because we feel lifted and and
lighthearted for all those that
lighthearted
don't
after
know.
3 months of continuous search and visiting so many areas. And
Hi there, Netta.
hi, Netta.
Welcome.
Oh, it's nice to have Netta here.
Yeah.
So after 3 months of extensive search,
I wouldn't even
for
call it
home.
search. I would call it
not
it's
like
it's
journey.
Journey. It's been a mission.
Okay, mission to
wake up and
finding
be like, you're ready to find the place.
to find our home to move into, and then with my son wanting to live with us, and then go through so many disappointments and challenges, and bringing this consciousness into the narrow presence within the third dimensional construct, such as real estate or rentals and what have you. Those of you who've been watching, you've seen the journey. And then Neda, our beautiful Neda is on. She has been a witness to so much of it.
Dear space holder to offer us the things that we've just been so blessed when there's family and friends that are just, when they hold their heart and they offer things that you're just like, wow, there are people like you. They're blessed beings that open precious doors that you're like, oh, thank gosh, there's angels out there, right?
I mean, there are. We have so many earth angels, and I feel that's very important to recognize in the middle of all of this so-called chaos, because we're really witnessing the chaos at the surface level. Because if we tune in to the light, there's tremendous light. As those of you who've been on the call with us, majority of you on our Tuesday night meditations, you get to experience the divine love that is held for Gaia and humanity. And we really experience the light. It's tremendous light that is pulled together between the light workers, bringers of light, starseeds, that we're really pulling this together. And then so on the surface, all the debris showing up. So we have also been part of that, because I feel one of the things that has happened, both Michael and I being super sensitive individuals, such as most of you on here are.
Super sensitive is an understatement.
So we're just vibration, very sensitive, just as you. But we vibration have got to get a little tough as well. My goodness, Michael, your hands are hot. No. My back is too. No. It's too hot. If you're like, I feel so sticky right now.
She's talking about us. I just
no. Okay.
It's like at night when we go to bed. Go to bed, honey.
I'm almost menopausal, so it's like
almost
literally. So do not like.
At night we go to bed and she puts her hands on me. I'm like, what is that steaming hand on me?
And we both, our hands are charged with so much energy, frequency. Like, better not. Like, okay,
like pink and red.
I'm so sweaty now. Don't do that again, my love. I'm trying to get a worse. But in this moment, I'm too hot.
It is a hot day, isn't
it? It is. It's really. Should we turn the fan on?
Do you think it'd be too loud for the live stream?
I don't think so.
I think it's good to get hot and sweaty. Hey, Caitlin,
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi, Caitlin, love. So anyway, back on track. So, last weekend was a very difficult Friday for me, because finally, after the last house, which was the one before that, the application was not accepted, because there were multiple applications. I feel like Michael and I are just like a little bit feeling sad. And naturally, my son, my youngest one, he found the courage to tell me on Friday that he's decided to live with his father, and he didn't want to live with us anymore because it just hurt him too much to go through this process. But because he's getting his driver license end of this month, he said, Mommy, I'm going to get a car and I'm going to come see you as much as possible. I just don't want me to be the reason why you're not getting a house. And it was a puzzle that we were putting together between Michael and I, our services, our in-person sessions or virtual sessions, as well as the gatherings we have virtually or in person. So it's like this puzzle to put together. Anyway, that was hard on my heart, and was also sad on Michael's heart. But so we went to the beach on Saturday.
Really to help realign.
Really to allow. We need to just let go of everything, and we had been waiting to hear from our present place management that we're living.
If they were going to extend a month to month, which we originally, for those that haven't been on the story, we gave our 60-day notice, really 30-day notice. Then we were trying to find a place before the end of June. That didn't happen. So they gave us an extension to the end of July. Both times they've already had residents that lived in here. They were gracious enough to extend it. So we were waiting back from them to hear.
So that was on Friday.
They were going to give us month to month so that we could have a little more ease in between. Go ahead.
So finally, they didn't give us the answer on Friday. They were supposed to give it on last week, Monday. And then they didn't give it on Saturday. So I was like, okay, we just let it go. And so Saturday, I just felt really numb. I felt, and there was just so much I had to face with the emotions and just wanted to disconnect. And the drive was really wonderful. And just being with Mama Ocean, we know natural medicine. There's no greater medicine than being on water, which we'll talk about because Michael and I really have felt called to. We'll talk about that. Yeah, I'm going to post this so we can. I'm going to share this so we can come to it too. For individuals that are drawn from next week on, once a week, we'll be able to organize a client session underwater on our paddleboard. 2 hours to take them early morning. And so those of you who've seen us quite a bit do this and just let them experience this medicine of water. So when we went Saturday, that was healing. Sunday, I just closed everything off, right?
And, and before we get to there, I think what Honey has expressed to me, which is very important, if people follow this journey and the journey of what Honey and I have really placed forward. We put our prayers together. We've reached out to you for so many blessings, which we're so grateful for. We've created altars. We've gotten prayer candles. And, a lot of people that are on this journey, sometimes they may see that like, oh my gosh, we're trying to manifest this, we're putting this out. But, due to the timelines that Honey reminded me that they're constantly shifting. They're constantly changing. So to really be consciously aware of what's happening around you, what factors are involved. We were surprised with Neva not being here. And with Neva not being here, that automatically shifted where we were. Again. At the same time, we were gifted by our beautiful management to go month to month, which has given us the flexibility. But
hold on, we didn't get that till Monday though, Michael. You like rushing over to Monday.
You said it already.
So Saturday, Sunday, I just had to unplug and we got to go. It was beautiful. We found this area in Bethany where it's just sand dunes and usually 4x4 cars go, but we managed to find a place where we can park our car across the street. And this hot day, we walked over, sand was still hot. And it's just this, I really like a place where there's no buildings. And we got to just sit there and really be there. And I got to watch Michael go in the very crazy waves, enjoy himself, have so much fun. And what was really beautiful for me, just sitting in that place and watching the way the waves would come and following the waves, and the layers and layers in me that was coming up to wash away. Layers coming me wash away, and layers of sadness that I haven't been with my children for so many years, especially these last 2 years, how unfair it's been. Like the highest level of discrimination I could have ever experienced in my life has been, me not being able to go to see my children. And anyway, there's a lot of pain in that, and how much this was the year with my son's last year in high school that I had the opportunity for him to finally be with me and Michael and have this other opportunity for him. And then I felt like it just ripped from me. And I had to really sit in that place in my heart and also go back to the soul agreement when I had died, when I saw my children in spirit side as their soul, and how they had chosen me as their mother to be a different mother. They had asked me to be a free mother, and they had asked me to let them be free as well, to support their spiritual wings. So I had to really come to that moment of to really, really embrace that. So allow it to wash away and let them have their journey as I have mine, for our earth, and also meet my humanness, my as a mother, and let the pains be washed away because there's been a lot of them, so that the joy can come back. And so that was Sunday. We had a beautiful time. Then we also got a chance to go through bodies of water in life, in nature, like a sanctuary of birds. We put our paddle boards. We take our paddle board everywhere. That was very healing. So being all day in water, unplugged,
washing away the emotions,
really washing away the emotions. I mean, there's so much emotions, and of course emotions in Michael too, from his recent grandmother transitioning and everything that has surfaced as a result of that. And then on top of it, pandemically, all of that being a witness, and then seeing these signs. Oh, you have to self-quarantine if you live in Delaware. So all of these things. So it was very, very interesting. And Monday when we were coming back, it was this moment where we were driving and my car speedometer was turning 44,443. And I told Michael, as soon as I need to stop, because this is like such a magnificent moment, and it is a timeline change. Just before that, we got the news from management that we are able to extend our lease stay here, which is the biggest relief, because we are in the middle of timeline. I keep seeing the timeline September 15 on is so wobbly. And all I kept saying to Michael, like, Michael, I need stability. Like, it's too wobbly. I need, just like I don't do well with this on the water. I need a bit of the stability. So point being, bringing it back to why Michael said, many times we create our vision. Many times we call in the prayers. Many times we put all the blessings and we release it. We do everything humanly possible. And sometimes it does not work out. And it's very important because sometimes light workers, starseeds, then can very easily interpret it that they have failed, which I also faced that. And, some of these heavier emotions. But what is important to recognize is that the timelines are continuously shifting because there's multi-layers of multi-dimensional reality happening at the same time. The consciousness of where you are and the consciousness of those who you're interacting is in different timeline awareness. So, for example, this ties into this thing, mask and no mask. This is a huge timeline gap between the conscious and unconscious, between the fear program, between the unfear love-based program, between the crystalline program and the one that is deeply connected to its, let's say, disempowered state. And this also ties into timeline. It ties into the vaccine. It ties into what's taking place on Earth, because there is this calling of individuals to literally take their divine power back, their divine inheritance, their divine truth, their divine voice. Yet the timelines, they're all right. Individuals are having their experience. It's all correct. It's just the timelines are off. So what we're seeing from one timeline is not matching another's timeline. So it's creating a lot of this friction.
And I feel that there's been a beautiful mastery that Honey and myself have navigated through in this adjustment to timelines, because there really needs to be this non-attachment, this flexibility, this ability to maneuver in ways that we see, we're aware, but we're not fixed to the outcomes of what are happening, because that's where a lot of our major suffering happens. If we have an expectation that we need to find a place by certain, it doesn't happen. We've seen that, where you climb so high on the mountain, you have this expectation, like it's coming, I feel it. And then when that expectation we're holding on to so much, then there's that fall all the way down.
But also when you really feel it, right? You see it, and then it doesn't because you're using your intuition and you're going with it, and then it doesn't match because that there's that part that you can. How could my intuition have been so wrong? But it's not.
And then there's
it has to do with timelines.
And then there's that self-judgment. Like, wait a minute, am I not right on? Or is there something, is my connection with the divinity not correct? Am I, is there something I'm doing to myself? There's a lot of internalization that can happen. So I find the biggest gift that we really recognize through these timelines.
With you, the biggest gift through the timeline.
I feel like the biggest gift through this timeline is Honey and I had to really adapt and really listen to each other. Sit each morning and say, okay, what is our next game plan? Because we've had to reshift, recalibrate, revamp every single thing that we're doing so that we constantly stay in our own divinity. Because if one of us fell off in sadness, the other one would have to be in a higher state to pick them up. Or if they were outside distractions, we really had to use what I felt the biggest gift is the art of patience and just allowing what is supposed to happen. We follow that within our hearts, because as you've expressed, when these timelines come, it's really the biggest test to see how can you stay in that eye of the hurricane. When chaos is moving all around us, especially now with what's happening there, how can we stay centered, grounded, and rooted? And I feel like we did an amazing job, because part of what we really chose was to stay in that present moment of recognizing what is before us, maximizing all of our options, reaching out to everyone that we could possibly go to, and then centering and grounding ourselves almost every day, if not nature, on the water, to rebalance and rejuvenate our systems. Because it was, I feel like, a major mission to see how we can move through this while expanding this amazing love that we have into such a tight vessel of limitation to 3D. And it's like microcosm, macrocosm. What are we doing right now? We're expanding our love, we're expanding our light, we're moving beyond, and then we go outside. And then we're like, so we have to really come back to the center of our heart and really be patient, really use our consciousness awareness to say, what is it in my power? What is my choice? How can I either respond or to react to the situation? Because it's a matter of where we're placing our attention. We can place our attention on so much of the limitations, or we can place our attention on the dreams, on the beautiful beach, on the sea, on the vastness that's before us. And I find we've done a very good job. She's chewing right now. I think
whenever I see these organic fig cookies. Oh my goodness!
They've been sitting around for a little while.
That's it, but they were in the package.
We bought a box.
Oh my
they've
goodness!
lasted. They've lasted.
This
is the patience of what she's done. We've had this box of Fig Newtons, and we have one last little package right now. So, but basically, what I'm saying is, it's been a journey, and I find what this story is also helping everyone understand. Those that are watching it now, what those are watching in the future is, it's not about the destination. It's about the journey and how we can really navigate ourselves with our compassion, with our lightness, with our flexibility, with our humor, with our vulnerability, with the moments that we felt like we were just exhausted and tired, but we kept picking ourselves back up and said, how can we, just keep moving forward? And it really came back to supporting each other with our highest love, because this was the test. If we stay in our hearts,
definitely layers of initiation. We go through self-initiation, each of us, as you all have been. And then when we're in a union, it goes to another level of initiation itself. And it always gives the opportunity to come back. Michael talked about the macro and micro, because we are bridging the gap between both, so that when we are coming into that presence, in recognizing its oneness. Hot?
It's so hot.
It's so hot. I told you.
I don't know how you guys are feeling. I don't know if our energies are off the chart right now, but
it is the chart. So let's go back to. So as a result of it, that gap being closed. So having said that, again, between these incoming frequencies, and holy freak, this Tuesday's incoming frequency was off the freaking chart. So I don't pay attention to at all the Schumann resonance. And honestly, I'll tell you why. And I've said this before. Anything that NASA puts out tries to tell me, or tell any of us, what the measurements are. I just laugh at it. NASA is a very, very corrupt institution with its own quite darkness, and I just don't give any attention to it. I don't need to know what the Schumann resonance was, where I can feel it directly, because boom, I start getting dizzy, lightheaded. I need to lay down right away, because the magnetic field within my heart right away communicates, okay, so there's a spike in this, there's incoming frequencies, so you got to get horizontal, so you can adjust back to this. And those of us who've been working with at the planetary level, we've been activated into the planetary Kristos codes of light, and especially those of us who have been on the land in so many countries, we've been directly part of that activation. We right away feel, because there's, as I had spoken before, there's this breath that is taking place within these grids, and there's multiple grid systems. So we are literally vibrating with it again and synchronizing. I feel like I want to do a little video on this. Sorry, you guys gonna keep seeing me do this. Why isn't this showing? Oh my god! Huh? Why is that now turning on? There. Huh?
Maybe it's not. Maybe.
Oh, there you go. So when we're connecting to this, we're already experiencing, because what happens, sometimes we get vertigo, sometimes we get lightheadedness, dizziness. We just need to just literally pass out. And then extremely thirsty, and a lot of head pressure, often neck pressure, and what have you. And this week, that spike was so much on Tuesday. And of course, Tuesday night's meditation was like, wow, it was just like so incredible for me. Yet on Wednesday, I did wake up with the post-op with one of my eyes. My face had shifted. It was kind of crooked. And then I can't remember which eye had gotten so dilated. Yeah, so big. I can see it's like off a little bit. And this offness took place when after I had died anyway. So I was told it's because to be able to see interdimensionally, there's an adjustment in the eye. So I've been going through this for several years. But this past week, the way my eye was impacted from this incoming frequency was crazy, because everything was so blurry. And I wrote a big post about it, how important it is. If one of the essential symptoms when this is happening, and it is happening with the magnetic field on Earth, it's the both electromagnetic field that is connecting back to our heart, because the heart is becoming crystalline. We're connecting the crystalline core of Gaia. So there's all of these adjustments taking place. And if you just breathe through it, not get into panic, you'll be able to pass through it. Then you're adjusted to a new frequency, which is a new octave of light. And I wanted to share that because I posted that, and it was amazing. I don't know if, Michael, you saw how many people responded that, wow, I never knew that. I have experienced this. Their face literally getting quicker, their eyes getting like, it's like, I thought something was really wrong, but that's why we share it.
It could be the DNA activation of what's happening before you, and how interesting it was on the feminine aspect on the left eye, which is not only our physical vision, but it's our, the doorway of the spirit is through our eyes. And so when it affects us into one of the major orifices, it gives us just a depth of what we can really connect with into, not only on our individual ascension journey, but also on our planetary journey. Because a lot of times I know you're holding a huge frequency for so many energies that are moving through, not just for Earth, but for galactic. And
that connection to the galactic, and I feel it was interesting. It was the result of Tuesday night's meditation, where I got to experience Gaia in her ginormous goddess form, ginormous, where she took a seat on the Galactic Federation of Light. It was so incredible. I felt the frequency of it was so expansive. That's why the next day there was an adjustment, physical adjustment in my system. And you have worked on me before when Mother Gaia has come, then you've physically been working on me in a session, and I go into a channel transmitter where Mother Gaia had come and spoke. I mean, that presence is like, wow. Like, it is so wow. Yeah. So anyway, so it's important about that. So these incoming frequencies are more and more frequent because they're carrying the light stream, right? As they're carrying the light stream, what is happening, the Earth's geometric pattern that carries this light force around is being pulled together. So, as I've spoken about this before, the dark force had a artificial matrix that had plugged into. So, and that's what controls the minds. But when you unplug from that and you come to your heart, then you're vibrating at the heart frequency. From the heart frequency, it's connected to the electromagnetic field of Gaia, connected to your heart, connected to the universal heart. So you're synchronizing with the same heart pulse speed, which is crystalline, which is a diamond light, which in turn, this is not one where you can be controlled, programmed, conditioned. It doesn't work. And as a result, this is taking place. So the field of light is now pooling together. That's why, again, it ties back to timelines being off, because this is happening while that's being dismantled. More and more people through this great awakening are pulling away from the controlled matrix. So matrix is dismantling, and this is being pulled. So what happens, there's adjustment and not, there's adjustment with many of us wanting to move, because now we got to be positioned. Our light has to be positioned. And us, I'm referring to light workers, beacons, and starseeds, have to be positioned differently so that we are now vibrating the pulse of light in a specific areas on Gaia, because we're all part of the same team. And this is why it's so important that you are above the politics. You are above what's playing out on the earth at the surface levels. That's why it's so important. You're not giving your energy to anything that is happening politically. You're staying way above and are able to see both. You're not pulling into here, you're not pulling to here. You're able to be right in the center, in your divine truth, in this now. And that's why the children, all of this with trafficking and the children and the exposure coming out, Rothschilds owning Israel and this connection to the deep state, and all of this exposure is part of this that is being dismantled finally, because finally all these hearts are connecting into the same field of light, and it no longer can be hidden.
And I feel the most important thing that within this light is the ability to maintain that frequency as high as possible without being pulled into all the distractions. Because many of us light workers, many of us beings right now can see exactly what's happening. And it's hard for us because we see the freedom being taken away. We see the limitations, especially with these masks, especially with all these restrictions. And I find what we spoke about earlier was really how we can hold compassion and how we can direct our attention from not what they're trying to do. What they're trying to do is create separation from our light. They're trying to bring down our frequency, lower our vibration, and stay in this stagnant old paradigm when we're clearly ascending and moving higher and higher and higher. Yet a lot of us, because we're so sensitive, and because a lot of us are clearing so many ages of anger, so much depression, sadness, anxiety, all this old ancestral energy that we're clearing, we're being tested how we can stay in our hearts and really look at even the reactions and responses from close friends and family, how we can still maintain that, because we are the leaders of ascension. We have come to this earth and to step forward, and part of our task is Are we going to be pulled down to this lower vibration, which is literally the test, or are we going to rise?
Dense and vibration.
Dense and vibration.
That is unawakened.
Unawakened. And
it's also right where it is, because it only experiences reality from that conscious presence.
Exactly. And so there's nothing wrong or right. But the key is for our ability to maintain that emotional body, the mental body, so our physical body doesn't get pulled. Because how easily it is, when we're walking at the beach and we're like, wow, I can't believe the whole town, it says masks are required. Or even when we go to the beach, it says masks required, even though no one's wearing masks on the beach. And somehow we're like, is this really happening? Yet we have to stay above that vibration. And we have to stay above the vibrations of close friends or family that all of a sudden want to comment on things they never want to comment. And we have to step back and say, that's where they are. That's our journey. Not to let ourselves be pulled into something that we see that's the illusion. And I think that's the mastery of when we see the illusion and we can walk through the illusion, but we're not dragged behind by the great masses, because we know we are the minorities. We are the beacons of light. We are the way showers that are coming forward, and we have to do it with grace and love and compassion. We have to be accountable for our actions, be bold, be strong, and yes, get angry, and yes, get upset, and share those emotions. Yet at the end of the day, we have to give love and compassion to all these other beings that quite might not be there yet. So we're not there to judge. We're not there to, create any barrier, because there's forces out there right now that are creating this separation of our light vibration. They're trying to create more separation. And what I always, say to myself and Honey is, the more you see separation, the more we have to give love to it, so we can bring it back into that unity heart consciousness. And that's what I feel. It's the major test right now.
It's almost like a dichotomy as we're talking. Maybe some of you feel it. We are speaking of those who wear masks and non-masked. There is a separation, clear separation. Okay, and
being
there is
forced
that
to wear because of law.
Right. There is that also that illusion. So one of the things I feel is very important, being compassionate, is very different. So there is this understanding, like, okay, I'm going to be compassionate to my fellow humans. So I'm going to put a mask, no big deal, because I want to protect my fellow humans. This is so beautiful. Absolutely. No question about that. However, coming here and really checking with yourself, is that truly coming from compassion? Because the compassion, so I had this discussion with a dear friend. She said, I don't understand. You and Michael are a highly conscious being. You're spiritual. How could you say this? This doesn't sound at all compassionate. This sounds like very, arrogant and whatever. And I really loved her question. I said, I'm more than happy to say to you, I said, we are actually coming from love. Love has power. And Michael and I have had a lot of discussions around this. There is a fierce power, and the Magdalene voice speaks to it. When the Magdalene voice has been activated within, it's activated from the heart, is deeply grounded into the heart of Gaia. The heart, Gaia's crystalline diamond heart. So it stands tall in this diamond frequency and is unafraid to speak. It's not here to preach. It is not here to judge. It is not here to convert. It is not here, none of that. It is here to speak its truth. And from that place of its truth, right, what happens is that it sees so clearly through behind the layers. And what is the frequency that is pushing this so-called mask? Is it truly for the highest good of the people, or is it representing a different frequency? Because it is feeding off of individuals' fear, because the real fear is death. That's all it is. So people's ultimate fear is always death. The ultimate fear is death. So as a result of it, that is really triggered. If you can step back and recognize this C word, I'm not going to say the rest, these past several months, in 2020, has brought up the ultimate fear in all. In the Great Awakening, you have to go to the bottom depth, which is fear, which is the fear of death, ultimate shadow, so that when you're so scared and everything around you is designed to control you, to make sure you know you're scared. Because if you're in your head, in your mind, you're plugged into that television, you are going to obviously receive all the material to support your vibration of fear. Whereas when you are outside of that system, you're in your heart, you're plugged into the natural laws, the magnetic, electro field, and the crystalline. You're plugged into this, plugged to the light, plugged into love. You see, no, there is no fear. I'm going to be in nature to receive this. So I cannot support this because this actually hurts my health, hurts me, depleting the oxygen in my body. When there's oxygen deprivation in my body, cells become oxidized, and it's the playground for all illnesses. So naturally, I cannot support this.
And the masks, as we see it, creates a social injustice because we can't see the beautiful smiles of the people. There's a lot of emotional disorders where you separate people, you give them a distancing, you tell people that you cover their face. We can't show our natural joy, our natural happiness, and our ability. And then that is being taken away more and more through these injustice laws and these programs. And we have to really step back and say, what is the deeper meaning behind it? What is really happening?
And for the microchipping,
and to keep stepping behind, but at the same time, not get lost in that energy. See what that energy is doing. Allow those people that support the mask, let them wear the mask.
Yeah, that's okay.
Those that have their opinions
No
about the mask,
problem.
let them wear the mask. But for those that, especially in my field of science, where I've grown up really looking at the nature of what our immune system does, our ability that we have the strongest capability to fend off everything as long as we keep ourselves in alignment through our daily exercise, our sleep, our diet, our ability to maintain our stress and emotions. And our immune system is the strength that we hold even deeper in our connection with the divinity.
That's it. That's the deepest level, right?
Divine connection. It was funny because I saw a comment. I won't mention who it was. Like, well, I can't trust God because this virus is doing this and this virus is doing this. Like, well, you just said it. If you're not trusting God, and you're not allowing yourself to really connect within yourself to feel the divine message that's being communicated in your internal organism, because once you plug in and you receive what the divine's telling you, then you're not giving your power away to
because
all
that's
these energies.
The opposite, exactly, to fear. I'm glad you make us really connecting.
And so in that, how funny is it? We're in a time of great awakening, but we're in that great awakening, we're in a time of empowerment. Mm-hmm. How funny as these masks, these restrictions, these fears are creating disempowerment. So then it asks us, how are each of us going to rise in this empowerment, even in our reality that's creating this like illusion? What can we do within ourselves? We can connect to that divine. We can receive the messages within our heart. Any moment we can go within and create our own natural intel of what's happening just by listening, being present, and most important, not giving our attention to those fears, to that darkness, and to that energy that constantly wants to keep us down, because we're in light, we're in expansion, and we're in this massive acceleration. Time is like this. Energy is fluctuating. If you haven't looked around, from the planet to the universe, everyone is in this awaken, and we, the humans, are the last species to make this leap. Yet how funny, this corona crown virus is here to pull us down, is here to give us the ultimate test.
And I feel the one important thing is that, yes, you have elderly person in your family, yes, go from that honor and respect. It is targeted more towards that population because they are living in fear. The closer to their crossing over to spirit sign, more vulnerable. So there is that more collective fear with that. But the younger generation, they don't have that in their conscious presence. So it's a very interesting space to be. And again, of course, we respect the elderly. There's no question about that. And but the voice of the truth cannot be suppressed. And the voice of the truth has been this whole month of July. It's I put the most badass post. Oh my goodness! Did you all see this? Let me show you. It's on the wall. I have to just show this to you because it is so funny.
Did one right to me this morning?
Oh my goodness!
I shared it on my wall too.
Did you put it on there? Oh, it's so funny. So one was the funniest thing. I posted this one. Did you all see this? Is the cat with the laser eyes? It said, "I'm sure things will be back to normal by July." And then here's July. Died laughing from this because here we are in July. And then the other post is about 2020. It's so funny, whoever wrote it. So of course, we posted it both on our blog.
So hilarious.
It's so funny the way it captures.
All the events that we're capturing it. You know what I felt like? I felt like we were like watching like a Garfield episode or a Snoopy episode. And it just put it into logic of saying, oh, by the way, if this happened, next caption, this happened, turn the page, and this happened. And you're just watching all the... It is so funny. It's almost like for those that can just, for 2 seconds, step back further, step back a little further, and just watch some of the nonsense that's happening out there, all in respect, nothing in disrespect, but just, when I say nonsense, distraction, the energies that just want to pull you away. We were having we laughed so much. So, have a little fun day, laugh day, because in this month of July, so we have several other months coming up, and let's be realistic, because we got a lot coming on our plate the next couple of months. So, like, literally, we're about to. I feel like we're getting a little bit of the breather right now. People enjoy summer because
and August, because I just keep seeing the time like, oh, shizzle. We just got like ready for 2020 because so much is wrapped around the. So I'm going to speak it from an energetic perspective. So let's say this being the vertical axis, right, from source to Gaia. And this vibration field is spiraling and spiraling. So there's one spiraling this way and there's one spiraling this way. And all these spirals are multi-spirals. Through the spiraling frequency, a lot is being dismantled and the amount of light coming in, yet at the same time, the strength of the dark is because it has been in practice, in place for so long, it's doing everything else it can. And when it can, the heavy energy, let's call it, when it's plugged into the mental plane of humanity, it uses its life force energy to feed itself. When you understand denser dark energy can only live in a fear-based environment, when you do not feed it, it cannot live. It's exactly a parasite. It's an oxidized being. It is a live being because it is then also connected to higher dimensional beings that live from this consciousness. They feed off of that. And some we call these entities or discarnates. They feed off of these heavier energies. So whenever you don't feel good, you get down in that heavy energy, it's good to face it because it wants to expand out of you. But when you stay in it, that's when the entity is not plugged into you and is feeding and feeding and feeding off your life force energy, and your vision is not clear. You cannot see. So we can put the most amazing things right in front of you to give the power right back to you, but you can't receive it. We can share, look, like the most important thing on the planet is happening. The children are being freed. The pedophiliac rings are dismantling. We can see all the connections now between the politicians, between the movie industry, between the celebrities, between the musicians, between Epstein, the girlfriend, the deep state, Israel, like, oh, everything is freaking crying. You can see how deep this goes, but you can finally see. You can bring the light to it, as you see, not get pulled to it. It is very dark. You can start to bring the love and stay in there.
That to me right there is really, really our essential way is, honey announced it, and we know what's ahead of us. There's going to be such an importance for us to really embrace what's coming forward and really to hold that energy, because there's going to be a lot of people confused. There's going to be a lot of people hurt. And what I really appreciate what Honey said is like, it's right in front of us.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because most of us, when it's right in front of us, we can see. But it's like, I can hold this cup. And some people, you're holding a cup, but they may not see the beautiful diamond crystalline heart right there. But they say, I see a teacup. They can see a teacup because somewhere in their hearts, they have
see the Christed heart.
They don't see the Christed heart. And maybe somewhere in their hearts, they have so much pain.
They can't see that in themselves.
They can't see it in
covered.
themselves because it's covered in so much pain. And so I can hold this teacup and say, wow, do you see the diamond crystalline heart in you? And they're like, I don't see it, because they can't see it because there's so much blockage within them. It's almost like I can see the Krishna. I can see the money tree. I can see Honey's beautiful earrings. I can see everything about it, but I can't see the heart because within them, their heart is blocked. Well, how true is it when we're going to be looking at these crazy dense areas that are going to be brought up and people are still not going to be able to see them because in their own pain, they either choose not to see it, they're going to avoid it because it's too much for them. And we, as light workers, are not here to point them, not here to depress them, we're here to hold that space, because many of us are going to have to be on platforms to express the truth of it all and the boldness of it all from the reality, and not hold back the vulnerability, the rawness, as well as hold the space for so many people that are going to be in such disarray that they're going to only need and feel the love and light and compassion that we shine. Like on Tuesday nights, we realized for 33 weeks, we've been holding 34 weeks. We've been holding this space, which many of you are part of. God bless you.
Isn't it interesting? 1 second. Isn't it interesting when New Year's Day came that week? I was like, I'm called to gather this. I had no clue why.
Right.
But I knew. And remember that video I did the week before in December, New Year's? I was like, I'm receiving 2020. The first half of the year is going to be extremely rough. Get ready. If you're activating your crystalline diamond, you got to stay in your crystalline diamond heart. Like, buckle up. Exactly. Do you remember? But I had no idea it would be like this. This is beyond my imagination.
And it's amazing because in those meditations, what has been so profound and what I'm so grateful Honey has not only received the call, but we've been able to hold that space for Gaia, hold that space
for humanity,
and feel all the energies that are transforming. And we're doing that in a state of lightness. We're doing this in a state of transforming. There's going to be a state that there's going to be a lot of dark being revealed. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to make us cringe. There's going to be a lot of things that we're just not even going to. Most people are not going to be able to stomach it.
Not for you all on
not
here,
for you,
because you all already know.
Why I'm expressing this is because I feel all the beings that are watching it now and all that will watch it, there is a responsibility that we hold. And I feel that responsibility is speaking from the truth in the light of our hearts. Bringing forth, not poo-pooing it, but taking the responsibility of being accountable and not just fluffing this off, because there's still going to be a lot of energies that are going to create false reports, false deaths, false energies that are not going to be able to show the validity. But it's up to us to be the truth seekers in sharing that, because many of us are going to say, okay, what is it that we feel called to support and to honor this, because this is my divine calling. And I find part of that is for us to really stand in the fullness of our power. That's why we're being prepared right now to say, okay, our truth must come out. We have to feel the trust, the strength, the confidence, the courage to really stand in what we truly believe, and not believe from the old programs, but the universal system of the virtues of the heart, not from the mind, the higher mind that connects to the heart,
higher heart.
And the higher heart. What is it within us? Because it's going to be very intense, and I believe that for us, for those that are watching, we're going to have that responsibility to see what we can do in our communities.
our muscles trained
Yeah.
for it. So moving on, let's just check in. How you all doing? Demetrius, Dan, Patricia, Angela,
Caitlin,
Lorlie, Caitlin, Christina, Maida. Yeah. How
Lorlie,
you all doing?
Please feed in with how you guys are doing and
Yeah.
how things are feeling, because this part of, we're
Let's
also
find out
open to
from
hear
them.
what
We
they're
just want
feeling.
to find out, where are you energetically, and
we know that it's been like this. Especially, it's funny as we're waiting. We've been laughing, these past couple of weeks, because we're like, what planet is not in retrograde? What freaking eclipse? And we don't pay much attention to it, but it's just funny how there's just all these planetary things that are happening, and just to take note of it, of how often they happen. What things are going around the world, and it just seems like there's something that's just grabbing our attention. But the most important thing is to see how we can create that alignment within ourselves. So
I just feel like, I mean, most of you know that it was 10 years ago I unplugged from Mercury. I was one of those that was like plugged into Mercury, like, okay, whatever happens to Mercury goes into retrograde. I'm also affected. And then one day I woke up, I'm like, that's not my truth. I'm going to plug into the light of Mercury. And from there, I went to I really disassociate myself from my zodiac sign as well. Just let it all go, because it's just another consciousness that wants to hold me in a state to communicate that I am who I am because of this, and I dismantle that. This was also certainly with full moon. I let go for somebody for years, facilitated of moon ceremonies, new moon, full moon. I did so much rituals. I'm a ceremony holder, especially women's circle, red tent, goddesses. I let that shit go with all the respect, because that also isn't my truth anymore at all. It's been over a year now, and moon has no power over me because it's artificial. It's artificial, and anything that's artificial, that's just it's been just dismantling. So that's part of the divine empowerment, and I really feel that is also part of the living codes of Magdalene, being really in your divine sovereignty. That's a huge part of that.
And so thank you all for sharing. Not to cut you off, because
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the comments coming in. Patricia, released deep energy this week to concentrate on myself in order to help others who need the love.
Thank you. Thank you.
Angela spoke. Trouble sleeping, a bit of lower energies hit me yesterday, but I took a ton of me time prior. So handling it well thus far, handling my light regardless of all else.
Thank
Angela,
you.
I would say, I don't know what it's been like these past 3 years, but my sleep cycles have been all over the place, wanting to sleep in, but waking up at odd areas of the night. I feel these are definitely ascension symptoms, and just our time to be very present. Lorlie said, resonating with being in the middle, noticing what's going on, whether it's political or medical. And it's a point of staying in the center and not being swayed from side to side, and doing our best just to stay in the heart, stay in the joy, stay in the ability to activate our hearts, so that we can fully understand that, like, there is something greater going on than what we see on the outside. I spoke about this morning, and I want to speak about it again, is, and all that's happening right now, I look at it as like, on the other side of it, there is just amazing, incredible light codes. There's a veil right now that is so thin that we can connect to our beautiful, beautiful spirit teams. This is a time that if we don't get pulled in, we can really dive deep into our meditations, into our prayers, into all the gifts that are here to be bloomed and served to others. This is our ultimate mastery, because it's like, here it is. How can we help serve this? How can we give our gifts from our heart while still not being pulled into all the gook or muck of it all, and share what's happening? Because there are extraordinary rays each day. We go outside, we look at the sky sometimes, and we see the angelic signs, like the rainbow. Like when we were at the beach the last day, and Honey was sitting on the beach, like after prayer, we saw all these dolphins jumping through, and it was like, how funny, like right in front of Honey, all these dolphins were jumping, and it was like, wow, look at that. And then one point we looked up at the sky, and right around the sun, there was like these rainbow colors.
Rays.
Even like Monday, we came back, and we've never seen a tsunami come over the freaking Bay Bridge we're driving back in sun and fun. Right before we get there, there's a tsunami going. And then right after the tsunami warning, we came back, and then here's the sun shining right through. And then there we see the rainbow color. So the magic is out there. The joy is out there. The creation's out there. It's fully, beaming at its highest level. And now it's up to us to anchor these energies in, to ground them so that we can fully feel that great expression that's moving through us. Because, I feel like, there can be so much of this one element that has our attention. But what excites me is on the other side is like, wow, look what's happening over here. Look at the amount of ships that are around the world right now. Think of the galactic federations. Think of the rays. There's so much of this excitement that I feel many of us can connect to. Let's bring them in. Let's put our attention toward there. Let's give that gratitude and that really sense of like appreciation that they're here to support us in our time of evolution and growth.
Thank you. I want to really bring the focus to July, Magdalene,
Sure.
for a moment.
Can we just read the last code?
Go
right
ahead.
Here? See, James says, I love truth all time with clarity and strength.
Thank you.
Caitlin said, this week I'm feeling exhausted. I slept nonstop for 3 days. Now I'm replenished, feeling a bit lost, though, as I'm not sure what exactly to overall in life. Just taking this day by day might be going on a road to California. Oh, wow. Beautiful. I'm always feeling tired, expanded later right now. Thank you, Dimitris.
Perfect. So I want to bring it back to this month of July, because after the summer solstice, so the energy, the expansion of the sun, and then now the retraction of the sun as we're, it's descending towards the winter solstice. So then we have the fall equinox in the middle. We have a major, major, major central alignment of the 8A, super alignment of the Sirius Gateway taking place, connected to the central sun, connected to the galactic sun, connected to source sun with the alignment of the Orion. I mean, that's a huge one. So, and there's that frequency again of the divine alignment. And the Magdalene month is very important this month, the month of truth. So for those of you that have been watching, I've been having this alchemy short video series, which is just 50 minutes straight to the point. And the voice of the Magdalene and the guests that I've been having, it's been so beautiful to come in, just so quickly share this space of true nameless space that only vibrates the frequency because it's spinning so fast in its pure love. And we're just buzzing together because that light carries so much love, so much crystalline coded presence. So when we speak, it's with so much ease and peace. There's no convincing. We're just interacting. But our physical bodies is not interacting. It's our multidimensional bodies, awareness, soul monad, all coming together in one place. What is so fascinating about that is that there's this feeling of home. We meet each other in home. There's that homecoming. And that's why those of you who are here, you're drawn to us because we feel so right. Like, hello, Danielle. Yeah, we just feel so right with each other. We feel each other's frequency so deep inside of us because we feel one another in each other. We are feeling the divine source, pure light of our illumination, the source of our origin in one another. That's why it feels so good. And what really is difficult for us when we meet an energy that is retracted from this closed. So when we come, we come to pour all of our love, and it hits us back, blasts back to us because it's closed. It can't interact, vibrate. So if we see like number 8 is like an infinity, it has to go, come back, loop around. But when we meet a soul that the energetic field is closed off, that circuitry, when you meet it, it hits you, it makes you feel awful, like as if with a car driving 120 miles per hour, you just hit a wall and you got like massive whiplash, and it literally feels so horrible. And then you need like a couple of days just to adjust with that because you came blasting with all your love. But the ones that are open with it, like let's say Caitlin, when you come here, or Neda, when you come, Maida, when we talk, it's like Dimitris, like wow, like because we all elevate together. Why I'm sharing this with you, this is also one of the major important keys and codes. Keys and codes are different. The keys open the codes, and the light codes of Yeshua Magdalene this is a huge part of it. So we're bringing the Kristos light through, but we have to have the voice, and the voice is not the voice of that masculine. It's not that voice. It's the voice of its deep truth. It's so grounded in the depth of the mother energy. It's held by the divine mother, and then it rises to speak. It's very much like a valley where the mountain then peaks. So that's why it's balanced in the sacred divine feminine, sacred divine masculine, and it's honed in. So it's expanded, then it honed in. So when we come from that place, we're very clear and crystal clear. And this is a very necessary part of the next few months coming. One of the personal things that with Michael and I has from day one that's happened and continues to happen, I hold Michael accountable. As like, speak to me clearly with my children too. If they're sort of like going around, like, come be clear with me. And that's also for myself, hold myself accountable to be very clear. When you are clear in your vibration field and you communicate clearly, you're like a piercing light that pierces through and dismantles bullshit, literally. So if a person also is operating from that place, they like get jolted to wake up. Okay, wait a minute. Like because sometimes they're fogged. They're not aware that their energy field is all covered. So those of us who are crystalline, we can tell right away if our energy field has been sort of like dirty. We have to clean it, wash it right away, but they're transmuted by the flames instantly, because we cannot then be a transmitter of light clearly, and our voice is the sound and communicates very, very clearly. That's why light, love, and sound is the key, trinity key of our ascension, personally, planetary, for delivering the golden age. If we are not vibrating in either of these three, not just one, all three, we cannot deliver our personal ascension and planetary ascension. That is why many individuals are drawn to starting to sing, and that's why light language has become more on the planet, because it's all opening up, and it has to come from the heart. And let me just add just one more thing that I come with light language. Also, the many are speaking, but you also see the ones that are coming just for their show, and they're coming to feed their ego. Like, here's something. You really see that, and that's not going to support the personal planetary ascension, because it's not grounded. It's not grounded in its truth. It's borrowed for attention. It's just ecstatic. It's not anchored.
And what's so important, I'm so glad and so happy you spoke about light, love, and sound, and especially the clarity of communication, because I feel in this 2020, it's about clearly communicating, which, in this connection to our fifth dimensional frequency is our deepest connection to our fifth chakra.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when we really look at those three aspects: light, love, and sound. The light of our heart, the sounds, of our voice, the love of what we're communicating. Isn't it interesting when we're not clearly communicating what is happening? We're not coming from the truth of what we are moving through. And I'm so grateful for Honey to share this, because we each, all of us, we know we have these members within our circles, our family, our friends. And unfortunately, they're still learning. Fortunately, unfortunately, no judgment. They're still learning how to communicate.
Yeah.
And we sometimes are the ones that are, of course, the rocks in our family, the black sheep, the ones that have actually helped evolve them. And we have to go through all these numerous experiences to be like, gosh, what does it take just to clarify through one word, one text to say, I'm here at this location? Or what does it take just to create that clarity? Because when that clarity is communicated, then there's no resistance. It's a straight diamond crystalline connection to the heart because it's a direct path. But isn't it funny when we just look at, I'm not going to make a judgment or make an assumption, but our generalization, but isn't it funny like sometimes like the root of all problems are communication? Like when the communication is clear, where's the problem? Because both people are now aware of it. It's only how we choose to act upon that. And this clarity of communication, this truth of what we're expressing is such an important value in this moment, because even in that communication, it's our choice of how we're going to allow other communication that's not the clearest, or other communication that does not come from a positive vibration, have any type of impact on us. And so in our clarity, in our truth, in our revelation and resurrection from the light, from the love, and through the sound, then we embody what we are already. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I would say through my own family, through my own friends, honey has been the biggest inspiration in my life to really speak the truth. And not only just speak the truth, but to bring out what sometimes we are naturally hiding because we're afraid to speak it. Sometimes like, whoa, no, that's a private matter. And I know a lot of us are like, can you actually say that on camera? Or wait, that's a little too personal. No, say it, because when we express it, what are we doing? We're giving that freedom, that liberation of the light and love of our heart that is connected to the solar system.
And there is no fear in that place. So again, also like, for example, we work on very sensitive matters, right? And there is a planetary level with what we're dismantling within the grids, the satanic frequencies, and some of these, I mean, really, really hardcore, dark. So one of the other things for many years, I felt I had to keep it so like hidden. And I noticed that I was being attacked left and right because of that. And as I opened that space of open publicly with it, I'm not getting attacked anymore, but because that vibration, oh my God, I have to protect it and keep it like hidden like this. That was my own vibration that was holding the field like that. But when I open it in love, love has the highest natural protection. I don't have to put boundary. I don't have to put field. I got to do nothing, because it just is. And that's a very different state of beingness than operating from that. So it is an evolution and part of our journey. And I feel that there's a compassion for our personal journey, and as well as those who others in their journey, and we're walking each other home. This is very important. That's why I feel like Michael and I's purpose, we're not here, like for example, this on the Ascension Alchemist page on YouTube, we're not here for the mainstream. We're not here for the unawakened. We're just not. We're here for starseeds, light workers, bringers of light, badasses who know their planetary mission. They're here doing their part. We're here to support you as we're supporting ourselves and to share. So for those who just awaken, like this week, we had a couple of people that were very upset. They wanted to bring all their evidence of the science and this and that. And we love these individuals, but we had compassion from where they're coming. They are right, but it's not the vibration in which we're operating from. That's not their position. So that's why I made a post about what we are committed to and where we're coming, and to stand in that. So yes, share your truth, but you don't need to bring it to our page. It's not that it's not welcome. It's because it's not the right resonance. We know where we're standing up. So bringing this back to, it is so important to know where you're positioned. Know yourself, where you position, what your truth is. You might dance in a few fields and all of that. Just give me 1 second, because I want to wrap this up. You might dance in a couple of fields, but When you know your truth, you're not going to overextend yourself to nothing and no one. When you know your truth of who you are and what your purpose is, you're going to be focused there, and that's the area you're strengthening, because that's the area in which you're of service to everybody else. Even those individuals who are awakened, you are of service to it differently. By you being you, you're giving others a living example and permission to be yourself. Yesterday, I was facilitating a light code transmission activation on an Iranian incarnate sister. There are extremely few of us Persians that are galactics. I personally only know 2 others. That's it. And here's this one. And with so much tears, she was sharing with me, honey, I can't express to you, when I came to your event in Toronto, everything you said is like my life. I have been feeling so alone. She's another star seed. And of course, we all have had this story. She's like, but Iran, I'm Iranian. I'm like, do you think you are? She's like, no, I can see now. That's not it. I am a star being. I was like, exactly. She's like, you let me be free in who I really am. But by me being myself, accepting me as this, accepting me as a multidimensional being, a galactic being, I'm giving permission to others to be by voicing my truth. And that's, as an ascension leader, that's where I'm positioned. So of course, it comes with its price. Being ridiculed, being laughed at, call me insane, judged, harassed, bullied, you name it, it comes with it as well. And that too is part of the experience when you sign up to get also, and shame has been the biggest one.
Shine that light.
To be strong in your truth. And this goes back to the Magdalene, because the Magdalene, for example, the ceremony that I'm putting together, that's Wednesday for the 22nd, it will not be in person. It is individually via Zoom. So I was sending the email out tomorrow with what's the preparation. There is a part that I will be taking individuals into for them to really dare to stand in their deep truth. Because in your deep truth, then you're relaxed, and there is no more defending anything, suppressing anything. You will stand up and you will speak. But there isn't any of this. You don't get caught in all of these other things, because you just, and and you're much more relaxed about it. And this is very important vibration, because as we go further, as they're going to start pushing the second pandemic wave and vaccines, all of this, and making you feel shitty and awful if, for example, you're not supporting the mainstream. Let's say you're not putting signs on your, let's say, yard, or all these other things, or you're not wearing the mask, you heavily judge, you just you pay no attention, because you know your truth. And that is the voice of the Magdalene. Stands very tall. Magdalene Tower in La Chette in France, is there is a tower, but the Magdalene Tower wasn't a tower symbolizing on earth. It was how she towered. She was able to reach divine by how much she had opened her heart and aligned with the truth of divine in the Kristos light in her.
And it's beautiful to share that, because I feel that is the rise of the sacred feminine within us, opening our heart and expressing it from all levels. Even when we stand together and we see, in our masculine and feminine, it's beautiful that this feminine rise is being brought through our voice and in our vibrations, in our thoughts, in our actions, in our blessings. And, I want to touch a point on the resonance that's being brought forward right now, how important it is to hold that frequency, hold that Magdalene voice, that vibration within us to carry, because that's what the disciples brought forward many, many thousands of years ago. That's what Yeshua was so blessed by Mary Magdalene and the teachings that came forth. And we're just blessed that you're taking this life as the virtuous vibration of the teachings of Magdalene, to share and to bring forth those and all of us that have been in these sacred ceremonies, for us to remember what is there, but most important, to be activated. Because when you speak,
because there is not much difference from 2,000 years ago to now.
No.
When Yeshua, Mary Magdalene disciples spoke, they were shunned. I mean, for God's sakes, Yeshua, the most beloved man that's so like worshipped now, he was considered a charlatan. He had to be killed, literally, because he spoke of love. They couldn't handle that. So what difference is here we are. When we come speaking from love, we're still in the same, right? Like we're considered the crazy ones, lunatics, just they've lost it because, and I love the new one, conspiracy, because you dare not to follow the sheep. You dare to speak out against, it's just something.
It's like because you dare to be different and not follow fear.
Yeah, because you don't follow fear, you're considered whatever.
You're considering
non-compliant.
And before this comment goes away, I have to honor your higher heart.
Wait, let me use the restroom.
Okay. But funny how, if you dare to be different and you choose to walk a different path, you're judged because you're not following what everyone else does. As they're being led, in that proverb, like, okay, we'll just walk that way and walk off the cliff. We're looking at everyone being like, why are you following this direction that is not in for the fullest expression of the love of your heart? And thousands of years ago, when these beautiful disciples and these wise wizards and masteries and beings of light came through and they were sharing this, everyone was like, you're weird, you're crazy, you're not living in your limitation of your heart. You have to plug this in, honey, it's a low battery.
Oh, sure.
That right now, once again, look where we are right now. The ones that we stand up and being different, we're being ridiculed. The ones that are questioning mainstream, we're being judged. And then we're being compared to what the political puppets or religion are sandblasting. And so it's our ability to, what, as Honey was saying even before that, is to maintain our vibration. And I want to say this also to you, Caitlin, because I know there's an up and down, but what Honey and I recognize in this is choose the energies around you, whether it's your social media, whether it's outdoors, whether it's the people you're with. Choose the vibration that you want to live and be around, because right now there's no point to lower your vibration, to give your power. We've done this for ages, to feel what this whole belief system's being brought and crumbling down. It's giving your power to how people perceive you versus placing your love in your heart and choosing that energy so that you can find those circles and be around and be supported just by being you. You choose not to look at the comments. If the comments are not of your life, delete them, release them off Facebook.
Yeah, don't get engaged with anyone's trigger.
And for those that don't see you in your lightest light, without, doing what people have done in the past and decapitate them and throwing them over the rivers, we're out of the dark ages. We give them light and love, but we choose to create our discernment, our healthy balance, so that we only place positive, healthy vibrations in our field so that we can grow and activate. It's like, why do we want to watch the news when it's only sending negative energy, when you can be in what I will say, what higher heart, I love what you wrote, express, experience, and embrace your higher heart. I hope that's your tagline for you, because it's beautiful. Express, experience, and embrace your higher heart. That is it. When we embrace that, we are living from it. The key is how you choose your environment and the choices that you want to live upon, because for Honey and I, we're very careful of what energies we expose ourselves to. We're very careful of what we put into our body, what we eat, who we choose to speak to, and
let's
what
spend our sacred energetic time
energies, because really this is your sacred life, and there's no need to go out into energies that are going to pull your light out. Yet it's wonderful to express that outwardly, but I'm not saying live in a bubble, play in this area where there's not happening. Just give yourself the permission to say, if there's energies that are not of a high vibration like yourself, choose to step back and say, is this for my highest good of all? And I feel that's the reverence, that vibration that we were speaking about before, is keeping that into the highest heart, keeping that in the Magdalene frequency, which we know that truth is here to share and truly help activate those that are just lost, because they're just asleep and they're lost. And when they awaken, they're going to see that.
Let's speak to that for one more second. Please note, family members, they have their purpose. Our family members do care. And when they see us expanding and is no longer supporting their fear-based consciousness, they do start worrying about it, whether we've joined a cult, whether we've been pulled here, we've lost it, because we're finding our newfound freedom that is in opposition of the way controlled condition program. This is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. And one of the things that does actually happen, the more you're able to stand in your truth, the more you're able to go through the process, there will be time that you will be disconnected from your family, because you have to unplug from that. And there will be some hurt feelings and all of that and what have you. And you might actually get into fights, all of that. That's also part of the ascension journey. But at one point or another, when you have gotten, just like Yeshua, when he left for many, many years. He came back in a very grounded way as himself. So what happens, this is what happens. We all take our journey. We take off, we go, we come back. Then our families are like, huh. And when you're able to speak your truth, then suddenly, this has been happening with my family, they actually want to hear what I have to say. They're actually responding. They want to be around from being so judged. But now it's like they actually respect. I've been seeing it with so much challenge that I had with my brother and my mother. They've totally come this way. They really value the voice, because I'm not trying to convince them. I'm not trying to put documents in front of them. I'm not trying to prove myself, nothing. But for a while, that's what I had to do, to try to convince, to fight it. And that's not it. You will go still through that until you're grounded enough in you. And please have compassion with you. I'm 48 now, and this has been a 20, almost, let me see, tomorrow is I turn 49, is a 30-year journey. So it is a journey. But some of you that are coming in, like Caitlin, you guys are in a newer vibration, you go through it way faster. So compassion for yourself and their parents, especially if you're very activated, like me, with all the galactics. They're really worried that you're speaking in tongues and languages and aliens. I never forget, I was invited 6 years ago. I was one of 24 speakers at the Fifth Dimensional New Humanity Conference in London. So I was asked to, and Michael Tillinger is also one of the speakers. So was Matthias and several others. And and this was my talk about being an Arcturian star seed and having gone on the mothership and my planetary work. And I remember the comment from my mom was like, so, I had been ready to, I had been out for a while telling my mom, and this was a big one. Now I'm starting my Europe tour, and it starts with these speakers like, oh, here I am coming out now. And so she said to me, honey, you were very excellent as a child, always these ghosts, and now you want me to accept you as alien? Too much. As a mama, I am an extraterrestrial being, not an alien. And mom couldn't handle that. But now she really embraces, she just accepts me for who I am, because she also feels my heart. She sees my truth. She sees I'm in devotion, and so I just want to share a little bit of that personal space with you.
And what's beautiful about that growth, which we've seen, especially in 2020, when their heart is completely opened and they release their own pain, then all of a sudden they embrace it deeper, because they look at you and they say, wow, this whole time you stood in your truth, you stood in your experience, and you didn't waver back and forth. There's so many times where you can recognize people will take sides and they'll go back and forth. But there's a big, acknowledgement, a big congratulations and celebration for those that stand in their truth, and they're not here to people please. energies. They're not here to take sides. They're here to speak their truth. And eventually people do come around. The key is, as when we're young, sometimes we're so excited to like rally them up, get them on our team, pack them in and be like, go charge, go team. And they were like, wait a minute, they're not even on the team. Actually, they're looking at you kind of like we're extraterrestrials anyway. And half the time we're talking, their eyes are kind of like, can we just talk about like, the roses and the sunsets? I'm like, no. I want to share like when this extraterrestrial came and visited me. No. Don't talk about it. What about the time when in dreams and the voice came out? Oh no. That's a little weird. Let's talk about this and that. And it's like funny.
It's like my former spouse. Every time, Carl, I want to tell you about the plasma. She's like, honey, listen, I can't get this deep. It's been 20 some years. Carl, I need to tell you what happened. And the thing is, there's a part of him curious, but he's just put the honey too much. I can't. He's like, you're getting every time. Like, have you ever noticed whenever I sit in front of him and we have to talk about the kids, I get so deep. He's like, because it's a lot. My brother too gets so many angels and the masters is like, you're too deep for me. You're too deep
or
for
the mental
me.
energy is so convoluted.
It's so cute
that
though.
It's like their higher body has to go to sleep so they can embrace it because their mental body is rejecting it. So they have to get to sleep so the frequencies can actually be absorbed into their body to activate because they can't quite absorb it at that moment. And it's funny because all of a sudden you're like, wow. Like they're asleep, but they're still receiving.
They usually get very sleepy around me. It's so funny.
I always had that when I was growing up. I would speak to friends. I go so deep, and they'd just be like, and I feel like, and I always felt like it was my fault because I just love the depth of conversations. Like when I talk to Honey, I'm like, wow, there's a woman of depth. We can talk so much.
Forever. And we look deep into each other's eyes.
We talk and we express.
Well, have you noticed when you want to talk, people don't want to look into your eyes? Yeah. And like, I want to look so deep. Right. And Michael and I, like, we look so deep into each other. Or the other ones.
We keep looking because we know part of that's our telepathic way of sending our...
Like we're speaking on all of our bodies are talking to each other. And
our rays of light are interacting. And that's...
But I feel that's what happens. Some people feel too exposed. You really sink into their soul. And you literally are.
Well, so it's fun for
not without any permission. You just are because you're looking into the eyes. And okay, just one more thing I wanted to share. So we're very, very grateful. My younger son yesterday messaged me with all tattoos here. So he's following his brother, tattoos, and again the journey of being a mother, letting them be who they are. I don't even know what to say to that. And we're looking for this space to be in here next couple months, however way it goes, no problem. We're welcoming it out. And we really felt we will have no more Sacred Sunday Spiritual Circle here because we're supposed to move. But for sure in August, we're going to have another Sacred Sunday Spiritual Circle. So we'll put that on. So all of you are welcome to watch that, which would be really amazing. Michael is going to have an event, an online event in August. Mine is next week, for Wednesday. But I'm not taking any more RSVPs. It is open to men and women. If any of you are called, please be sure to email me today because this information gets sent out tomorrow. And then I need my own space in preparing everything for Wednesday. It's going to be very special. It is 3:30 to 5:30, but for sure it's going to be 3:30 to 6:30. I might as well change it because I'm like receiving what we're going to go individually through. So it's going to be a good time. And Michael, before you read this, I wanted to also share this with those of you who are around. Maida, those of you who are around. By the way, last year, this time, we were so blessed to be with Maida in Toronto. Yeah, and we had such an amazing experience in Toronto, experiencing, being in the light code transmissions there, Michael's Archangel Micro Transformation and Healing. And Maida and I had been friends for several years on Facebook. And how beautiful it is, just like you all here, when we met at the frequency level without the physical form, and we get to experience the love at that level. And then when we meet each other, wow, like it's so timeless. It's so timeless. And this is how we feel with just about all of you. And that's why we do this, because our soul is just so naked, and we love being in our naked truth with you, because we feel that's the guest. So from that, what I wanted to share is, because we are here, there, Michael and I, during this shutdown, and there were a couple of things that had come up for us in terms of very exciting ways that we can support and assist people in very joyful ways. But because we were, the last 3 months has been so focused on finding a home, we couldn't bring it out. But now that we're here, we will. Michael and I have in the past teamed up together in a healing session, and that's very, very powerful. When a client is on a treatment bed, I bring my sort of like tools, Michael brings his, and the person gets to experience both sacred divine feminine, sacred divine masculine. One of the in-person sessions, that we feel the timeline of it is now, that we really wish to have others experience, is the presence of our sacred divine feminine, sacred divine masculine ascension alchemy energy, but within the crystal grid. So individual, like that book supplement, this 2 hours, they get to be inside a crystalline grid that will create for them right here where we are, and we'll take them into the sound light language journey. So they're really activated in the crystalline field. It's so powerful. It is a 2 hours. There's an invocation with that. So that's one of our new services that Michael and I are just so excited to serve together. And then the other one is also in person. Only once a week we do this, but we actually take the individual where we meet at the paddleboard. So we have the paddleboard and kayak, and I bring my tea and some, yummies, and individual gets to just be on the kayak, and they get to experience guided meditation journey. They get to see the turtle island that we call it. We get to paddle them, take them to a couple places. In these 2 hours, let their energies, emotions be met by the elements, and particularly water and this quiet nature. Let it all transfer. And that's another full 2 hour, healing heart journey on the water.
And as well, I feel that I will be doing more shamanic journeys virtually. I know a lot of our sessions have been done virtually. Angela, I wish we could do...
Which one, Angela? Which one are you referring
she's
to?
talking about the diamond crystalline.
If diamond crystalline, no, because it's physically here. It has to be done. But we do, just 1 second. We do offer an in-person session via Zoom for a person that needs, like, especially sacred couples or individual, for both of us together. Yes, we do offer that.
The new ones that we're specifically targeting is in person, obviously, that we can do, and the virtually ones, which we feel that we've been continuing, which I've been expanding even deeper in the divine multidimensional healing sessions. I've been doing that online and really helping many, many people go through these times that are just feeling disconnected. Yesterday I had a very, very powerful healing session with a beautiful master that she just needed to be connected to the angels and to the divine. So I've been going deeper into really calling upon the masters, the angelic realms, the councils, and the rays of light to help support that through guided journeys, through affirmations, through the golden light, through meditations, through sound vibrations. So all of these energies are being brought forward virtually, which I see myself expanding that, as well as in person for those that do need that sacred, therapeutic, shamanic touch that Honey's, really felt many, many times, that has been expanding one's light body and really, really working through all their multidimensional areas to bring them into their divine alignment. So we know, Maida, if the border was open,
you'd be right here,
you'd
sister.
be right there, or we'd be right there. So we know that the best we can do is just keep shining that light, that love, and we're just grateful that all of you today.
I want to just make sure it's clear, Michael. Just so that you've been on Zoom for a while. So the two new service is the healing of the heart on water. That's in person, and it will be from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You would have to meet us So, but you have to email us so we can organize, and it's weather dependent. That's full 2 hours. The other one where you'll be in the crystalline field, where we are creating the crystalline. So you basically lay down, and we're going to take you through an invocation and a prayer, and also what you are calling in, and we're going to create the crystalline field. We have so much crystal around you. Then it's with light language, sound vibration. You get to bathe in this frequency and allow higher plane to really assist your crystalline diamond body. So that's also the second new service. We do work with couples who are in a union. They lack strengthening from a sacred divine union perspective, and everything that we share is directly from our own individual experience, what has worked, what has not worked, and we're here to support another one. So that we do work with couples via Zoom. It's an extensive work on that one. It can be usually couple sessions, but sometimes individuals, if they want just a Zoom session for Michael and I, we can also facilitate that together. So I just wanted to share because we never really talk about our sessions, because people ask, can you do this? So we wanted to bring that out.
Yeah, I feel like there's been
and if you can, please, ascensionalchemist@gmail.com. Email us. If we can help, we can. And if it brings you joy, reach out. If it doesn't vibrate, then don't.
Yeah, I feel there has been a very big call for people to express themselves in this time of the quarantine and really go deep. And that's what I've been so grateful to honor the Sacred Divine Heart listening sessions online, to go through different multidimensional exercises virtually, and to really show you that there's no time and space. What I've recognized, especially this week, is there's been such powerful activations online that people have received that same power and magnitude in the Archangel Michael transformation that I did in person, as doing those sessions, as we say, long distance, but there's no long distance, through virtuality on Zoom. So we're blessed, and know that we support all of you in your ascension journey. We're always here to hold that space for you.
Caitlin, we cannot wait for you to experience. Please email so we can organize. We have a couple of people that are looking at, so just email us so we can organize the date with you, sweetheart. Thank you.
So we're going to now offer the beautiful divine angelic daily message for today, which I think is a great title, because we were talking about the power of our eyes. And today is day 199.
Really?
Yeah, 199.
It's a delicious day.
And the message for the day is to see other people through angel eyes. So let us take a nice deep breath into our heart, and a nice deep breath out. Another deep breath in, and a deep breath out, and wholeheartedly listening to today's divine message. The human ego is annoying. That's its very nature. It irritates you because it creates friction as it attempts to dissuade you from love. The ripple in the energy field is unpleasant. You'll always be troubled if you pay attention to other people's egos, because you'll only notice the darkness and shadows. This focus leads to fears that goodness is a myth and you're alone and unloved. The only way out of this abyss is to view yourself and others through your angelic eyes. When you concentrate on what you'll see, which is what you'll encounter. If you'd like to experience a sense of love and feel more secure about yourself, then look past your ego. See beneath the annoying traits to the place where love and light reside within every person. Steadily gazing at this treasure chest within every individual will uncover a peacefulness that you long forgotten about. The thought for today, repeating after me. I focus on the love and light
I focus on the love and light
within others.
within others.
Since the ego is annoying,
Since the ego is annoying,
I choose to put my attention
I choose to put my attention
elsewhere and view people through the eyes of the angels.
elsewhere and view people through the eyes of the angels.
The more I see love within everyone,
The more I see love through everyone,
the more I feel it within myself.
the more I feel it within myself.
And so it is.
And so it is. Yay. That was wonderful. And Ascension Oracles. Ascension Oracles. Let us feel the light of the Ascension Oracles. What message we have for our group today? For your lovely crystalline presence. Oh. Saint Germain. Love him. Number 34. Saint Germain, Lord of Civilization, cooperates with Archangel Zachiel to transmute the lower energies of the world in the violet flame. He is a great alchemist and magician who transforms that which no longer serves into something beautiful and light. Your guidance is to invoke Saint Germain. Surround yourself with his violet flame, violet light, and see the divine perfection in whatever or whomever wish to transform. Your pure intention and focus can co-create with his energy to make miracles happen. Use this to help yourself and others in their ascension. Affirmation: I believe in my ability to create miracles.
I believe in my abilities to create miracles every day.
That's right.
Every day.
And so be it.
And so be it. So it is.
And so it is. So good. So I want to just introduce Helia to you all. This is Helia, my new buddy. It's a yellow citrine, dark. It's a vintage one from back in the 90s. My most sacred treasure in my collection. A vintage piece. Wow. So much love. The yellow citrine here.
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for sharing your beautiful energy, taking this time to really listen from your hearts, to receive the divine message within, and just really staying above it all in your highest vibration. We know we're going through some powerful times, so we just bow to you and all that you're going through, and just really thank you for your dear sacred blessings, your love, and all that you've supported us through this incredible journey that we've been on. Thank you.
And please, if this video served you, we'll be posting it on our walls on Ascension Alchemist, and of course my page, Michael's page, Honey Bowden Author Speaker Healer page. Please share it. We share it. Share. I listen. I watch this. What it did for you. Stand behind that. And it will help you. It will help others. And it really helps the voice of your Magdalene. Stand behind it. And we love it if you give it a thumbs up. We're learning about these algorithms. If you give it a thumbs up and write a comment on the YouTube section of this, it really helps us. You're chatting here. It's amazing. It really helps us. So we're creating this through social media to spread the light. So much love and thank you so much. We love you all. We'll see you Tuesday night for week 35. And on Monday, Michael and I are going to be live on Multidimensional Living at 12 p.m. Eastern. We're so excited. With Gia, our galactic sister. And then, of course, Magdalene Feast is on Wednesday.
Have a beautiful, blessed day.
Love you all. Thank you. Yay.